Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. How is everyone doing today? Good. It is so good to be back with everyone. It's been a while. I missed you all very much. And we are missing Rabbi Dan, unfortunately. He is under the weather. So he sends his love. He is sad to not be with you all, but we will get through. You will help me, I'll help you, it'll be amazing. And we have some special guests here tonight to help us with the service. So we'll invite them up in just a little bit. But first, we'll start on page 120, and we will invite their moms up to light the Shabbat candles. So whenever you're ready, if you want to come on up. I know, it was a very abrupt start, but it's okay. We're getting into it. All right, you can come over to this side, and then there's a... This is Sophie. Ella, stay here. We're going to light the candles, sweetie pie. There's this. And then do you guys want to stand in front of the... You want to light the candles? Go stand in front. Perfect. And then light the candles, say the blessing, and then we'll read that.
So we should say this first?
Yes. Light the candles, then say that, and then we'll do the reading. All right. We're going to say the blessing over our candles. And then we'll read on the top of page 121 in English.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Beautiful. You two can sit down. Okay. Amazing. All righty. I'll invite all of our kids who are here to come on up to the bima. or if you're already here. But if you're not here yet, come on up. Okay, we're going to sing a little song about Shabbat candles since we just lit our Shabbat candles. And I'm not sure that you know this, but I think you'll learn it pretty quickly, okay? One little, two little Shabbat candles, one little, two little Shabbat candles, one little, two little Shabbat candles on our Shabbat table. Okay, now, Our Shabbat candles, that's the main part of the song. You've already learned it. Our Shabbat candles do something really fun and special. Does anyone know the word flicker? You know the word flicker? Flicker is what they're doing right now. See how they're moving? So can everyone take their body and can they put their hands in the sky like this, like their candles, and then move their hips this way, and then move their hips this way? That's what flickering is, okay? So we're gonna flicker as our Shabbat candles. Flicker little Shabbat candles. Flicker little Shabbat candles. Flicker little Shabbat candles on our Shabbat table. Can you march? March little Shabbat candles. March little Shabbat candles. March little Shabbat candles on our Shabbat table. Dance little Shabbat candles. Dance little Shabbat candles. Dance little Shabbat candles on our Shabbat table. Amazing job. Okay, now that our Shabbat candles and our Shabbat candles here have brought in the light of Shabbat, we're going to sing a little song about how good it is to be here in Shabbat. Hine matov, how good it is to be together. Hine matov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Okay, when I say hine matov and I go, can you guys clap your hands on that beat? And can we have help from our congregation out there? Clap your hands on that beat. Hine matov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Now we'll sing another song again about how wonderful it is to be together, because that's the most beautiful part of Shabbat. So we'll sing Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. One more time. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Now, I have a very special feeling on Shabbat. Does anyone else get a special feeling on Shabbat? You do? Where do you feel your Shabbat feeling? Here in your head? In your Torah? In this place. That's a beautiful place to feel it. All right. I've got that Shabbat feeling in this special place. In this special place. In this special place. I've got that Shabbat feeling in this special place. In this special place today. Does anyone else feel Shabbat feeling somewhere in their bodies? Yeah, where do you feel it? Here in your head? I've got that Shabbat feeling up in my head, my Rosh, up in my head. Up in my head, I've got that Shabbat feeling. Up in my head to stay. Does anyone else feel a Shabbat feeling anywhere in their bodies? Do you feel one? In your heart? What a beautiful place to feel it. I've got that Shabbat feeling deep in my heart, my lev, deep in my heart. Deep in my heart, I've got that Shabbat feeling. Deep in my heart to stay. If you're joining us, come on up if you want to the Bima. You don't have to, no pressure. Does anyone else feel Shabbat feeling? Maybe in their feet? Do you feel it in your feet?
I feel it in there.
In the ark? That's a really great place to feel it too. Let's feel it in the ark and then we'll feel it in our feet. I've got that Shabbat feeling inside the ark. Inside the ark. Inside the ark. I've got that Shabbat feeling inside the ark. Inside the ark today, I've got that Shabbat feeling down in my feet, down in my feet, down in my feet. Show me your feet, everyone, show me your feet. I've got that Shabbat feeling down in my feet today. And I've got that Shabbat feeling all over me because it is Shabbat. I've got that Shabbat feeling all over me. All over me. Show me all over you. All over me. I've got that Shabbat feeling all over me. All over me to stay. Thank you so much, my Shabbat friends, for helping us bring in the spirit of Shabbat. You can take a seat, please. And we will continue our Shabbat service on page 130 with Lehu Neranena. Lehu neranena, lehu neranena, lehu neranena, ladonai. Lehu neranena, lehu neranena, lehu neranena, ladonai. Naria, naria, litzori, shenu nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, litzori shenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. We'll continue on page 131, in the middle of the page in the Hebrew, Shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru Miyom Leyom Yeshuato, Sapru Vagoyim Kevodo, Bechol Ha'amim Nifleotav, Ki Gadol Adonai, Umechulal Meod, Norahu, Al Kol Elohim, ay, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru Miyom Leyom Yeshuato. Amazing. We'll continue on page 134 with Zamru Ladonai. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor Bekol Zimran, Bechatzotrot Bekol Shofar, Hariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Yiram Hayom Humelo, Tevel Veyom shveva neharot imcha uchav yachad harim yeranenu lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz Yishpot tevel b'tzedek ve'amim b'meisharim Yiram hayam umelo tevel ve'yoshveva neharot imcha uchav yachad harim yeranenu. On the bottom of page 135 in the Hebrew, Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtakavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtakavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Let's try that again, all right? Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishtakavu lehar kodsho. We'll do that again next week, and I'll expect a very enthusiastic key from all of you. Don't worry. Page 138, we turn to Lechado D. We will do the first, second, fifth, and ninth paragraph. On the ninth verse, we will rise and face the entrance. On the ninth verse, I will tell you, don't worry. I'll give you clear instructions when we get there. Lechado di likrat kalai yalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kalai yalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmi'anu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemu tiferet v'letila Lechado di likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechado di likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila Lechado di likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechado di likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Hitorari Ki va'orech kumiori Uri shir daberi Kevod Adonai alayich nigla Lechado di likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat. We rise and face the entrance. La Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam besimcha uvetzochola toch emune am segula boi chala Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela We'll turn to page 140 in the indented paragraph in the Hebrew. Tzadik katamar yifrach, ke'eres balvanon yiskeh, shetulim beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenuvun b'sevad shenim v'rananim yehu, lehagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avla tabo. We rise and turn to page 144. We rise, please. Page 144. Yitkada shemei rabba be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'gala uv'yizman kariv v'imeru amen Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'alam ulam me'hamaya Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitamam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, shemedu kudsha, brichu, le'elam min kol berchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, dam yiran be'alma, v'imeru, amen. 146. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. You may be seated. We'll read together on the bottom of page 148 in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night, and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Uma'avir yom u'mevi layla, umavdil ben yom u'vein layla. Adonai Tzivaot shemo el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim. We'll read together on the top of page 151 in the English. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shiftecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. We'll turn to page 158. We'll first read the reading on page 159, and then we will sing together Micha Mocha. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai ya lai la lai la yai lai la 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 lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osefele Nora tehilot osefele Malechutecha ra'u vanecha Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'lianu ve'amru Ze'lianu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ad Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar k'v'rayat Yaakov U'ge'alo mi'ad chazak mi'menu Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We'll read together on page 161 on the top of the page. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Meini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat, la'asot et ha-shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vaynafash, shavat vaynafash, shavat vaynafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat la'asot et ha-shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We now turn to our Amidah, beginning on page 164. We will begin together on page 164, and then we will continue silently with the words of your hearts, and you may be seated when you are finished. We rise as a community. והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי. We turn our thoughts now to those who may be in need of healing, whether it's healing of body or healing of spirit. I'll give everyone a moment to recall those to mind who may be in need of healing. If you would like to share their name out loud, I invite you to do so now. We add those names to the names in our hearts, and we join together in the middle of page 371. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I think at this point our kids are going to go downstairs with Shelly, or anyone who identifies as a kid can go downstairs with Shelly. It's probably going to be a lot of fun down there. It really is always, it adds a nice energy to the room when we have our kids here. So I appreciate all of you for coming and for making our Shabbat so much brighter. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It really is so good to be back with you all. I was in Los Angeles for my winter break about a week and a half ago. I was still there. I was visiting my family who lives there still. And I was walking around my neighborhood. It was 75 degrees outside. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. There was a light breeze coming off of the Pacific Ocean. There were people outside. There were dogs everywhere. I had my sunglasses on. I sent my group chat a picture of the people who were in the East Coast to make them jealous. And then, very abruptly, I came back here to the East Coast. I'm guessing that most of us have been following the news about the big winter storm that's headed our way. I saw a video this morning on social media of the Trader Joe's on 72nd and Broadway, which is right by where I live, and it had a line out the door and around the corner with people waiting to get in to get their food to prepare for the winter storm. This feels familiar. With these kinds of storms, we often prepare for something catastrophic, and then maybe we get a few inches of snow, sometimes just a cold rain, but still, we prepare. Because no one wants to be caught unprepared. No one wants to be stuck without food, without power, without heat. And maybe, most of all, no one wants to be isolated in the middle of severe weather. There's a particular anxiety that comes with a winter storm. It's not just about snow or ice. It's about darkness falling earlier than usual. It's about canceled plans, empty streets, in the sense that you might be cut off from work, from school, from the people that you rely on. Even if nothing actually happens, the anticipation alone can feel heavy. That feeling brings us directly into this week's Torah portion, Parshat Bo. In our portion, the Egyptians find themselves facing a series of plagues as punishment for Pharaoh's refusal to let the Israelites go. This is one of the most familiar sections of Torah since we read it every year at Passover. God instructs Moses to go to Pharaoh and demand the release of the Hebrew people from bondage. Pharaoh refuses. God responds with plague after plague. By the time we get to this week's Torah portion, most of the plagues have already happened, but just as a refresher, the order goes like this: water turning to blood, frogs, lice, swarms of insects, pestilence, boils, hail mixed with fire, locusts, darkness, and finally, death of the firstborn. And now we're all ready for Passover. The plagues escalate in severity. Each one is more intense, more destabilizing than the last. And the rabbis notice something interesting here. They ask, why is darkness the 9th plague? Why does darkness come right before the final and most devastating one? Surely, hail and fire raining down from the sky sounds worse than darkness. Surely, locusts that blot out the sun and destroy the food supply is more frightening. So what makes darkness so severe that it comes second to last? The 12th century commentator Ibn Ezra gives us this explanation. The Torah describes the plague as darkness that can be felt. Ibn Ezra explains that this wasn't just nighttime. It wasn't just cloudy weather. This was a darkness so thick that the Egyptians could feel it with their hands. No candle, no fire could pierce it. People couldn't see one another, neither by daylight nor by lamplight. The darkness was paralyzing. The Torah tells us that people could not move from where they were. Imagine lifting your hand in front of your face and not being able to see it. Imagine being unable to find another person in the same room with you. Imagine not knowing how long it would last. Rabbi Sharon Brous, the founding rabbi of Ikar in Los Angeles, teaches that darkness was the worst plague not because it was physically painful, but because it created total social isolation. The Egyptians weren't just uncomfortable, they were cut off from movement, from communication, and from one another. And I think many of us understand this now in a way that we didn't before. After COVID, we know what it feels like to be isolated. We know the anxiety of not knowing when we'll see people again or when life will return to normal. We know what it's like to feel stuck in place, unable to move forward, unable to gather even when we so desperately want to. That's part of what makes winter storms so unsettling too. Yes, there's concern for your physical safety, icy roads and powder outages and school closures. But beneath that, there's a deeper fear that we'll be alone, that we'll be cut off, that the darkness will close in and separate us from one another. The Torah seems to be telling us something profound here. A God who treasures community, who creates human beings to live in relationship with one another, understands that one of the worst forms of suffering is isolation. Darkness becomes devastating not because it hurts the body, but because it fractures connection. And the contrast in the Torah is striking. While the Egyptians are trapped in darkness, the Israelites are described as having light in their dwellings. Light here isn't just physical, it's relational. It's the ability to see one another, to gather, to move, to be together. That's what Shabbat offers us, especially on a dark winter evening like this one. We come inside, we light candles, we show up even when it's cold and even when it's inconvenient, even when it would be far easier to stay home. We push back against the darkness not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by choosing connection anyway. So as we face this coming storm, whether it turns out to be a dramatic one or a total dud, maybe the real preparation isn't just about bread and milk. Maybe it's about checking in on one another and making sure that no one feels alone, and remembering that light is something we create together. May this Shabbat remind us that even when the darkness feels thick enough to touch, we are not meant to face it alone. And may the light we share here carry us through whatever storm comes our way. Shabbat Shalom. We will conclude our service by turning to page 586 for the Aleinu. We rise, please. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedolah le'oter breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'madim, lifnei melech malchei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol ha'oretz, bayom ha'hu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, those who died in this season or in years past. If you are remembering a loved one today and would like to share their name with our community, I invite you to rise and share their name with us now. We are also remembering as a community, and please forgive me for any name mispronunciations, Daniel Bernstein, Beatrice Barak, George G. Berger, Solomon Cohen, Yale H. Gelman, Alice Grossman, Rose Katz Grossman, Mildred Hamovitz, Ruth Hess, David Carlin, George Katz, Dorothy Klein, Hannah Klein, Herman Klein, Morris Kramer, Joseph Kranick, Joel Margerton, Franny B. Meyer, Michael Neustetter, Kate Okun, Diana G. Oliphant, Millie Peskowitz, Mary Racklin, Louis Sigmund Rosenthal, Alan Saltzman, Gloria Ordever Sapiro, Francis Sokolowski Suskind, Sylvia Swerdelik, Freda H. Tarlow, Peter Weinstein, Adrian Wool, Larry Axelrod, Hillary Butler, Michael Fagenbaum, Susan Fleischer Axelrod, Danny Horowitz, Leonard Lauder, David Lombardo, Judy Lombardo, Carol Nadell, Edward Schiff, Robert Spingern, Susan Warter. You may rise now if it is your custom to do so. The Kaddish is on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'alam ulamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'miran ve'elma ve'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael ve'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, huya asei shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael ve'imru, amen. May their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. Announcements. Let me find my announcement sheet. I've never done this before. Okay, here we go. First of all, we're sending a big refuah shlema to Rabbi Dan. We really hope that he recovers soon. That'll be with us next week or even tomorrow, but I don't think so. But wishing him the best. And thank you for bearing with me this evening. Thank you to our Hebrew school families and our friends for joining us this evening. You really enliven our service, and we so appreciate your presence here. It says here on the sheet that I'm supposed to welcome back our student cantor, Emma. So, hello. Thank you for welcoming me back. Join us, as always, tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Shabbat morning services and for Torah study tomorrow at 12 p.m. Tomorrow, also a new group that I am helping to lead, a spiritual journey and Havdalah, will meet at 4 to 5:30 p.m. for our 40s through 60s. So if you would like to join that, please come on over. It'll be great. Maureen's Haven Homeless Shelter is this Sunday. Due to the predicted snowstorm, the shelter will not be held in Bridgehampton. The guest will stay an extra night in Southampton. So people are dropping off food at the synagogue tomorrow from 9 to 1 and from 4 to 5. I hope that's clear to all of you. Okay. Wednesday, January 28th at 4 p.m., the current events discussion group facilitated by Bob Nadell is meeting. Thursday, January 29th at 7 p.m., the weaving workshop with Lee Reichwin. Create a challah cover, no experience needed, and let Shelley know if you plan on participating. Our Social Justice Committee is organizing a civil rights trip to the South, Atlanta, Montgomery, and Birmingham, and an email was sent this morning about the trip. The deadline to register is February 1st, so please let Shelley know if you are interested or have further questions about it. I did a similar trip when I was in high school, and it was very impactful, so just as a plug for that. And that is it. Shabbat Shalom. So we will do Kiddush, Motzi, and we'll do a concluding song, and then we'll do Kiddush and Motzi. Or if any of our kids are still here, you can join us if you want. I don't know if any of them are still here, but we'll do Ein Keloheinu, which I just need to find the page number for, unless one of... All right, I can always count on you. 626, Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemalkeinu. Moshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. All right, we will do Kiddush. If you would like to follow along, it's on page 123. We rise, please. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchiltanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh zecher litziat litzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amazing. We will uncover our challah. And you can metaphorically reach towards the challah, and we'll say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. If you would like to join us next door for Oneg, please do so.